OrthoVellum, a knife lacerates the median nerve at the wrist, the hand is numb and weak. The question every examiner will ask you, will it recover and how long will it take? The answer is written in the anatomy. A peripheral nerve is built like a cable wire inside insulation, bundled inside sleeves. Which layers are injured decides whether the nerve heals itself or needs a surgeon, so let's draw it. This is nerve injury and regeneration at fellowship depth. First, the cable itself. Cut a peripheral nerve across, and you see the cable in cross-section. The whole trunk is wrapped in the Epineurium, a loose, protective sheath that carries the blood supply and forms the surgical plane for repair. Inside, the axons are grouped into bundles called fascicles, and every fascicle is wrapped in the perineurium, the tough layer that gives the nerve its tensile strength and forms the blood-nerve barrier. Zoom into one fascicle, and each individual axon sits inside its own delicate tube, the endoneurium. That tube is everything. If it survives, a regrowing axon has a guide rail home. Each axon is insulated by a thick myelin sheath, and at the very center sits the axon itself, the wire. Remember the order: inside out, axon, myelin, endoneurium, perineurium, epineurium. So when a nerve is injured, classify the damage by which layers are lost. Seddon gave us 3 clinical grades: neuropraxia, axonotmesis, neurotmesis. Sunderland went deeper with 5 anatomical degrees. Master Sunderland and Seddon comes free. Now the 5 degrees. Watch the damage travel deeper layer by layer. First degree neuropraxia, a conduction block, the myelin is bruised but the axon never breaks. Everything beyond the block stays alive and recovery is complete within weeks. Second degree axonotmesis proper, now the axon is broken but its endoneurial tube survives. The distal axon degenerates yet the guide rail remains, so the nerve regrows at about 1 millimetre a day. Third degree, the endoneurium is lost as well. Regrowing axons can now wander into the wrong tubes, so recovery is partial and crossed wires are common. Fourth degree, only the epineurium is left. The inside of the nerve is solid scar and the block is complete. There is no recovery without surgery. And fifth degree neurotmesis, the whole nerve is divided. Again, surgery is the only hope. Notice the pattern. The first 2 degrees keep their scaffold so they heal themselves. From the 3rd degree down, the scaffold fails. The deeper the injury, the worse the recovery. What happens next is not passive decay, it is organized demolition and rebuild. The moment the axon is divided, the distal stump is cut off from its cell body. Within 24 to 48 hours, Wallerian degeneration begins. The distal axon fragments. The myelin breaks down into lipid droplets. The Schwann cells change character. They stop insulating, start eating the debris, and they proliferate. Macrophages are then recruited to finish the cleanup. This matters because the debris is inhibitory, clearing it paves the road for regrowth. And crucially, the Schwann cells line up inside the surviving tube to form the bands of Büngner, a living scaffold that will guide the new axon home. Meanwhile, up at the cell body chromatolysis, the nucleus moves to the edge and the protein factories retool, peaking at 7 to 14 days as the neuron switches from transmission mode to growth mode. Then the regrowths. Once the road is cleared, the proximal stump sprouts, not one sprout but many. At the tip of each sits a growth cone. A migrating tip that reaches out phylopodium, tastes the chemical trail laid down by the Schwann cells and pulls the axon forward into the band of Büngner. The speed limit of the whole system is 1 millimetre per day, about 1 inch a month, and that single number lets you predict recovery like an examiner. A median nerve cut at the wrist has 12 centimetres to reach the thenar muscles. 120 millimetres, 120 days, roughly 4 months before that muscle flickers back. But a brachial plexus injury at Erb's point faces 35 centimetres to the hand, 350 days, nearly a year, and that is before you add the weeks of chromatolysis. Distance is the enemy. And you can watch that regrowth at the bedside. Tinel'S sign, percuss over the nerve, and the patient feels tingling exactly where the regenerating front has reached. 2 weeks after repair, the point sits at the injury. 6 weeks on, it has marched down the forearm. By 10 weeks, it approaches the hand. An advancing Tinel is the sound of axons regenerating, a millimetre a day. But a Tinel that never moves, a stationary Tinel, means the sprouts have tangled into a neuroma. Without surgery, there is no regeneration. 2 biological clocks decide the operation. The bands of Büngner deteriorate after 3 to 4 months, repair late, and the guide rails are gone. And the motor end plates in the muscle die after 18 to 24 months, re-innervate after that, and there is nothing left to switch on. That is why primary repair within 3 months wins, and why a late plexus injury becomes a reconstruction, not a repair. So the take-home: a nerve is a cable, axon inside endoneurium, fascicles inside perineurium, trunk inside epineurium. Sunderland's 5 degrees track how deep the damage goes, and the deeper the injury, the worse the recovery. Wallerian degeneration clears the road, the bands of Büngner keep the map, and the growth cone advances a millimetre a day. An advancing Tinel proves it. Repair inside 3 months, because neither the scaffold nor the muscle will wait.